Welcome back to the second episode of Getting All You Deserve Out of Yourself. I know in the last time we spoke, it was by audio. You didn't see my face. This time I decided to do something different. I wanted to be able to speak to you more directly to try to develop a more, to start cultivating a real relationship with you. And I thought it was important that you be able to see my face, see my lips move, and know that I'm real and who you're talking to. When I came up with the title "Getting All You Deserve Out of Yourself," it moved me. Emotionally, it moved me because I thought about myself and I thought about all the years that I had put into helping other people achieve their goals and how many people I had supported. And it's a good thing that you can support other people, but I also remember that other people had been able to get more out of me than I was able to get out of myself. And I remember that tipping point in my life where I said, why can't I get out of me what other people get out of me? Why can't I see myself or support myself being all that I can be, like I've supported so many other people being all that they can be? And what I realized was that one of the reasons why I was not good at getting all I deserve out of myself is because I was so focused on pleasing other people. And so many of the women and men that I've worked with throughout my career struggle with the same thing. We struggle with trying to please other people and trying to make other people happy, not realizing that pleasure is really an inside job. It's not something that people do from the outside in. What do I mean by that? I mean that we all are creating our own exclusive experiences. No two people ever share the exact same experience. Even when two people are making love, even though they're making love and they're in the same event, so to speak, they are not having the same experience because both of them are being driven by two different perspectives and two different views of what pleasure is and what makes them happy or what makes them feel a certain way. We only think that they are experiencing the same thing as us, and the reality is they are not. So knowing that, just knowing that little tidbit, it's important for you to understand that pleasure really is an inside job and you don't have the power to pleasure someone else, to please someone else. Imagine how much power that would give you over someone else if, or it would give people over people if we had to sit around waiting for someone to please us. We have the capacity to please ourselves. We are built in a way to please ourselves. And if we follow certain methods and certain laws that exist in the universe, we would have no problem with pleasing ourselves and thus getting all that we deserve out of ourselves. So on last week, when I gave you the homework, the audio homework, it was the homework assignment was for you to continuously ask yourself throughout the week, what would it take to please you? What would it take to please me? What would it take to please me? And you continue to ask yourself that until you would hear an answer. And I know some of you still haven't heard an answer. You probably feel like, oh, I don't know what I want in life and I don't know what it's going to take to please me. And I want to tell you the reason why that is. It's simply because you've devoted too much time trying to please other people and you've taken your attention or your focus off of your own inner voice. And without your focus on your own inner voice, it becomes kind of difficult for you to hear what your heart or your soul is communicating to you as what it is that you, or what it is that it will take to please you. So this week, what I want to do to continue on that lesson journey is to take you a little step further in recognizing there are 5 things I want you to recognize and really come to accept. That until you accept these things, you will struggle in yourself to be able to find what will please you. So like I said, so many of us spend so much of our time trying to please other people. And so I want to give you 5 things that you will absolutely fail at, that if you accept failing at these 5 things, you will get to the point to where you will see why it's so important for you to focus on you and focus on pleasing you. Now, when I say pleasing you, I'm talking about really what will help make your soul sing. What will put you in a place of feeling great about who you are and where you are no longer going back and forth with any kind of negative possibilities, but you're going to be completely focused on the life you want to live, and all of your energy is going to go to everything that you want. So let's make a pact between each other. From this day forward, I want you to start focusing on this idea that you're going to focus and talk about only what you want and not what you don't want. And here is why that is, because the universe is not interested in what you don't want. There's no problem to be solved in you talking about constantly what you don't want. I don't want this. I know I don't want that. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. The universe does not want to hear that. God does not want to hear that. The reality is it doesn't create an opportunity for God to go to work. By you stating clearly what it is that you desire, you give God an opportunity to go to work in your life. And before that, there's nothing to work on. You complaining about something is not anything to work on. So I'm saying that to say this, that it all begins every morning when you wake up. Your life and your day begins with you answering the question, what do I want for myself today? What do I want for my life? You know, some goals are going to be long term, some are going to be short term, but the point is, it's important for you to know, because there's no way for you to achieve satisfaction or fulfillment in life if you don't know what pleases you. So here are the 5 things that I think play a major role in being distractions, preventing us from focusing on our own inner voice, which is not in our head. Our inner voice is in our heart. And that requires a different type of listening. And the next time when we meet on our 3rd week, we're going to talk about how to listen to the voice in your heart. But this week, we're going to focus on the distractions, moving the distractions out of the way. And these distractions come as failures. And they're things that we really struggle with not wanting to fail at, right? And I'm opening up my journal so I could get to those 5 things that I want to share with you, because they are so important, because I know I spend so much of my time. Here's number 1, the first distraction that really takes up so much of our time. We are trying to get people to like us. I know I wasn't honestly open with people. I didn't tell people that I was trying to get them to like me, but inside myself, I knew that I was. I really wanted people to like me. And if people didn't like what I did, it would sort of deter me from going forward. I would hesitate. But there was a point in time in my life when I was younger where I didn't care about if people liked me or not. But as I became older, I started to care about it. And it got me caught in a trap. And that trap is a catch-22. Damn if you do and damn if you don't. Because if you're trying to get people to like you, and they don't like you, then you feel bad. And then sometimes to do what you have to do to get them to like you takes you so far away from being who you are. So this is the one thing that you're going to have to accept that you're going to fail at. If you can accept this, it will no longer be a distraction. Accept the fact that you cannot, or you will fail at trying to get everyone to like you. So if you like me, fine. If you don't like me, fine. You're going to take it or leave it. But I'm going to be who I am, because it is the most effective path for my life. My attempt to be someone that will make you feel better about yourself only takes me off my path. Do you get that? You're attempting to make someone else feel good about themselves, and you altering yourself as a result takes you completely off of your path of happiness. There's no way for you to be happy trying to get other people to like you. Number 2, you're going to fail at not making mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. So, you know, being perfect or being great at who you are has nothing to do with you not making mistakes. Matter of fact, the mistakes are there to be made so that you can grow and learn and develop yourself. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You know, in fact, the bigger you're trying to become, the bigger the mistakes you will sometimes make. But those mistakes will pay you back. They pay you back in the experience that they give you in the future. So remember, you're going to fail to not make mistakes. You are going to make mistakes. All right. So the next one is you're going to fail to not hurt anyone. The reality is you are going to hurt people. Not intentionally. You're not out to hurt anybody. But the reality is, just by being who you are, just by saying what you have to say, just by standing up for what you have to stand up for, there are going to be some people who will feel hurt by what you've said or what you've done. And if you occupy your mind with trying to get away or trying to get around that or trying not to make it happen, it's going to alter you being your authentic self. And I want you to know that all of your power as a human being is in your authenticity. All of your power is in your authenticity. And in the moment you step away from your authenticity, you step away from your power. Now, what is authenticity? Because I know people hear it all the time and people don't really know what it really is. In my new book, Mind Blowing Intercourse, I define authenticity, authentic, as the spontaneous, unpredictable way that you express yourself when you have not given thought about how you're supposed to or should express yourself. It's the unpredictable and spontaneous way that you express yourself without giving any thought to how you are supposed to or should express yourself. The minute you start giving thought to how you're supposed to express yourself or should express yourself, you're no longer authentic. That means you are starting to create someone, you're starting to create a representative, someone that is not like you because you feel like some part of you is not good enough. And every time you do that, it takes you off of the mark. It distracts you from being able to discover in yourself what will please you. All right, here's another thing you will fail at. You will fail at not at being right at everything. You are not going to be right at everything, so give it up. This idea of wanting to be right about everything is really something that really distracts us from getting the results that we want. If you can accept the fact that you're going to fail to be right at everything and be willing to accept that you're wrong about certain things, or be willing to accept that some things that you are trying to be right about, you shouldn't even want to be right about. Like, for example, I was working with one of my clients and she was trying so much to prove that she was right about her daughter being an unfit parent. And so as we talked in our coaching session, she really got present to understanding what she was trying to be right about. That what she was trying to be right about was not something anyone should want to be right about. Why should you want to be right about your daughter not being a fit parent? So much energy she was putting into her daughter not being a fit parent, and she didn't understand that she was working to manifest more of what she didn't want than what she did, because her focus was not on what she wanted. So sometimes it happens with us trying to be right. Our ego gets so caught up in trying to prove we're right and everyone else is wrong, and we end up making people look bad, and no one likes to look bad. When you have a habit of making people wrong to make yourself right and look good, people don't want to be around you. And it's not about you trying to get people to like you, but it's about being authentic, because when you're being your authentic self, you're not going to be focused on trying to be right. You're going to be focused on the outcome or getting the results that you say you desire. The last thing is that you will fail. What's the last one? Oh, I can't remember the last one. So far I gave you, oh yeah, you will fail to please everyone. Simple as that. And I started with that one actually because the fact that we spend so much time trying to please other people. And the reality is, because pleasure is an inside job, because being pleased with someone being pleased is determined by what their interpretation is of things, how it occurs to them, where they come from. All of that comes into play with a person being pleased. So we are not the actual one that pleases them. It's how they interpret what we do for them that pleases them. So if we give up the notion that we can please people, if we give up the notion that we are going to live without hurting people, if we give up the notion of trying to get people to like us, if we give up the notion of always trying to be right, and if we give up the notion that we are not gonna make mistakes, and stop being afraid of making mistakes, we can start getting focused on what it would take to please us. I want to support you pleasing you. Because when you are pleased with you, that means you are moving toward being 100% on your own side. And my entire work and coaching practice is dedicated to helping people become 100% on their own side. Listen, you're listening to this coaching session. It's complimentary, but I would like for you to give back in some way. In a few days, I'm going to be releasing my new book, Mind Blowing Intercourse. That's right. Mind Blowing Intercourse. And I know even though you hear me say mind-blowing intercourse, you're still thinking about sex. Well, it's designed that way because we have been socialized to think about sex every time we hear the word intercourse. But I'm not talking about intercourse as in sexual intercourse. I'm talking about mind-blowing intercourse. It's a journey you go inside yourself to penetrate the pleasures and powers within you that have become dormant in you as a result of you being focused on trying to please everyone else. Listen. I want you to work this week on focusing on not trying to get people to like you, letting go of that. Focus on not always trying to be right. Notice when you're trying to be right, when you find yourself trying to prove to someone that you're right and they're wrong. Notice it and step back from it. Observe yourself from the outside as if you were watching yourself, and notice yourself doing these things. And every time you notice yourself doing these things, stop. And choose to go in the direction of what pleases you. In other words, in the direction of what you desire. If you practice this enough, what it will happen is all of the distractions will move out of the way, and you will start to begin to hear your clear, authentic voice, and you could hear what you really want come forth. My name is Berwick Madi Davenport, the author of Mind Blowing Intercourse, Your Personal Path to Pleasure and Power. And I thank you for listening, and I hope